The professional life of police officer James Coffey is not doing too well after the social media backlash involving him easily allowing a former hip-hop artist turned drug dealer named Orlando Johnson easily escape custody. This has caught him a lot of guff from his captain on the case, Detective Watts. However, his private life seems to be going splendidly as he's in a deep relationship with Vanessa Manning, and it seems her 12-year-old son Kareem is open to starting a relationship as well. However, the aspiring rapper Kareem believes dating a police officer is a major threat to his reputation, so he's arranged for Orlando Johnson to beat Coffey up so he can videotape it and then put it up on YouTube. However, in the process of trying to get the footage, he witnesses Johnson and his lackeys murder an undercover police officer. Somehow in all of this, the media has blamed Coffey for this entire scenario playing out and is now painting him as a cop on the edge. So now, James Coffey, Vanessa Manning, and Kareem have to work together in order to try to prove everything right. This is Coffey and Kareem. I kind of hope that made sense. That took a long time for me to summarize. Anyway, this movie it's on Netflix. It just debuted today, April 3rd, as I'm recording this. Overall, it's not terrible, but it's not particularly good either. This is pretty much an exact replay of last year's comedy Stuber with Dave Bautista and Kumail Nanjiani, except in this case, instead of an Uber driver, it's a 12-year-old who wants to be a rapper. And it basically, like, Kareem is, he's your typical 12-year-old in this scenario. He's smart-mouthed, he's glib, and, he wants to be a rapper, and he's making lewd raps about his teacher and trying to pass it off as being poetry. And, even in the case of, basically, like in the case of the Orlando Johnson, the rapper turned drug dealer, and he's a drug trafficker, actually, but, yeah, he kind of is painting the same thing. Like, I didn't want to be, it's like, I just want to be a hip-hop artist, so I figure I have to front this, like, street life persona. And that's sort of the sort of motif with both of them in that sense. But, yeah, like I said, this is pretty much a replay of Stuber, where it's, the two clashing personalities, they go through the buddy cop adventure movie bit, and somehow at the end, everything turns out well. And I mean, I'm not even joking when I say it's Stuber, because there's a lot of predictable plot points in this. Big spoiler, I guess. It turns out Watts, the lead detective on this case, is actually dirty and on the take and trying to broker a drug deal with Johnson and the Montreal Mafia. And so, yeah, it turns out, like, she's Johnson's superior on this, and the character is just completely unlikable. It's so painted that you made this twist so obvious. Like, she breaks Coffey's balls, she insults him, she runs it, and Coffey's just kind of trying to be like your average ordinary police officer and a good cop and everything. But, she's just constantly berating him and undermining him, and it's like, you made her the most unlikable character, so of course it's going to turn out she's on the take. Yeah, I will say this, there are some kind of funny moments in this, like, as this is all playing out, like, Kareem cuts a deal with Coffey that, you have to do two things. I'll work with you on two conditions. One, at the end of this, you break up with my mother. And two, at the end of this, at some point, you have to take me to a strip club. And so he said, like, okay, and, he does actually wind up taking him to a strip club, one with a great buffet. So, and there are a few other moments like this, like another point after he discovers that Watts is on the take and Watts takes off in pursuit. Like, they wind up in this car chase with Kareem driving, and they get stuck in a roundabout, this little like circular cul-de-sac moment, and they're just kind of going around each other and drifting and drifting and drifting. And at one point, even Watts realizes, like, wait, are we chasing them or are they chasing us? Because it's gotten so confusing at that instant. So yeah, like there's some decent banter in there in between. Unfortunately, there's also a lot of just kind of dullness. Like Ed Helms plays the straight-laced cop just a little too straight-laced. At another point, I'll say this: they're interrogating Johnson, the hip-hop artist turned drug trafficker, and like Kareem is trying to teach Coffey how to be intimidating. And they say, you know, you need to basically make these threatening kind of, you know, in the film they say gay remarks, basically. It's, you know, suck my blah, 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 yeah, that sort of thing. Kiss my, lick my, da, da, yeah, from all these acts. And Coffee tries it, but it's more like, instead of threatening with sexual activity, it's more like threatening with a typical romance. It's like, I'm gonna meet your parents, and they're gonna approve of me. They're gonna say I'm a keeper. And that sort of thing. And it actually works. That's the funny part of it. So yeah, like there's little funny bits like that in here. Unfortunately, the rest of the plot is just really kind of pedestrian, and the kid who plays Kareem is all right. I'd say actually probably the best performance overall is turned in by Taraji P. Henson as Vanessa. But yeah, other than that, it's just kind of very bare bones and humdrum. It's not terrible, but it, you know, it'll kill an hour and a half at least. So you got that going for you. I'm going to give Coffee and Kareem a C.
You're not going to believe what happened.
You're right. I'm not.
You don't believe your own brother? Come on. I'm really sorry I'm late.
Late? We're having coffee.
Taster's choice. Just in time.
Well, no, I think you know everyone except...
We've already met.
We share the same taste in coffee.
Savor the sophisticated taste of Taster's Choice.
Are you always this late?
I won't be tomorrow.
What's happening tomorrow?
I'm inviting you to dinner.
What makes you think I'll accept?
You can't resist my coffee.
Okay, so this is where I normally do trailers, but I don't really have any trailers at all in this case, unfortunately. A lot of the stuff is stuff that's just coming out a little too recently to really talk too much about. At least, you know, if I did like the Netflix things, like when I reviewed the Pokemon remake. But instead, I'm just going to have to talk about what are the upcoming videos in this case. I had kind of a weird week before I get to that, I guess. I had, like... basically, I was working on recording the audio for my random trade review on Excalibur Classic, and in the middle of one of my recording parts, somehow Google Chromium got Trojan horsed. A malware-riddled version of Chromium got Trojan horsed onto my computer, and I had to stop everything. It took me so long that I forgot what it was I was talking about in the recording session, so I actually had to go back and almost restart the whole thing. So yeah, and then that got massively delayed. Bismarck got hit with a snowstorm yesterday, and my car got stuck, so I had to deal with that as well. So it's like not to mention, like I said, I thought about doing a WrestleMania predictions video, but with it being pre-taped, I was just afraid I was going to wind up getting spoiled, and I did get spoiled a little bit. Not so much a result, but obviously I know who Goldberg's opponent is going to be. Let's just say that. And so, yeah, anyway, the next video is going to be the random trade review on Excalibur Classic Volume 1. I do have everything set to go on that. It's good. We're all through on that. After that, I'm gonna do WrestleMania. That'll be up on Monday. I'm gonna cover both nights as part of one video. Like maybe I'll record my thoughts right after night 1 first, and then edit them together. Then record again after night 2, and then edit them together that way. So I'll probably be in a different shirt, in other words. Anyway, next movie review, I'm going to try to see if I can do Trolls 2. I'm guessing it'll probably be available on most streaming platforms, so I should be able to at least get that, because it is still technically getting released to theaters, but it's also getting a VOD release, and the theaters here in Bismarck are closed until further notice, so I'll at least be able to do that. And then there's going to be another movie review, a kind of combo review in a way, because it's another Netflix film, but it's the Netflix film of the WWE produced The Main Event. So we'll be covering that one next. So see you all next time. Hey guys, remember, you can help support my channel at patreon.com/sleepytimeforcat productions, where you can help request a movie, even if it's something like, say, Sonic the Hedgehog or the next Purge film. I'll review it.